Alright, so let's go over the homework. And this was a moles to mass worksheet. I called it number 38. Okay. And going over these, this goes with the homework. Now we're going to have multiple steps. So first of all, we have this equation. And we're using the same equation for the whole one. All of them. CO plus 2H2 forms CH3OH. All right, so first question. In the CH3OH, that's methanol, which happens to be a wood alcohol, right? It's actually a highly poisonous chemical, actually. It's a highly poisonous alcohol. All right, question letter A. How many moles of each reactant? Oh, so we need X moles of this guy, and we need X moles of this guy. And we got two answers we got to do. It's given needed to produce 3.60 times 10 to the second. 3.60 times 10 to the second grams of this guy. Do you know what this number is? Because it's times 10 to the second, that's actually 360 grams. So to make it easier to type into the calculator, we can just use that. All right, so we're going to start with the one that's got a number, which is this, and we're going over to this guy. We'll start with that one. And remember, we've got these options that we can do, and start with the thing that's got a number. The units are grams, so if we go to the cheat sheet, we're going to go grams of this to grams of that. So we're going to find out X grams of this, and then we're going to change it into moles. So to do that, I need molar masses. So this is 1 times 12 for carbon, plus 3 times 1 for hydrogen, plus 1 times 16 for oxygen, plus 1 times 1 for hydrogen, and all that times the 1 that's out in front. So if you do that, you get this to be 32 grams. And then if we do the hydrogen, it's 2 hydrogens times 1, and all that times the big 2 out in front, so that's 4 grams. So we're going to set up 4 grams of hydrogen. We'll make 32 grams of CH3OH. And then we go, actually we want to know X grams of hydrogen. We'll make 360 grams of CH3OH. So from there, cross multiply 32 times X equals 4 times 360. Divide by 32, divide by 32, and X ends up equaling 45. Sorry, I was looking for my answer. 45 grams of H2. So this is 45 grams of H2. All right, from there now we can change grams of this into moles of this. And in doing that, according to the cheat sheet, we've got to get the molar mass, use that. So we need to use 4 grams of H2 is the number that's out in front, which is the 2 moles of H2. I don't have 4 grams, I got 45 grams. So I'm going to go 45 grams of H2 over X moles of H2. Cross multiply, 4 times X equals 2 times 45. Divide by 4, and X ends up equaling 22.5, I think it is. Yep. 22.5 moles of H2. So we now know that this is 22.5 moles. Hey, there's one of our answers. Whew. Man, these things take a lot of work, don't they? All right, we still got to get this other guy over here now. All right, so again, we're going to go from 360 grams to this. So we're going to go from there to X grams, and whoops, I changed my color, didn't I? Keep my color the same. X grams of this guy first. So I need my molar mass 1 times 12 for the carbon, plus 1 times 16 for the oxygen, and all of that times 1. So if I multiply all that out, I get 28 grams for that guy. So I'm going to set up at 28 grams of carbon dioxide will give me 32 grams of CH3OH equals, I want to know X grams of CO per 360 grams of CH3OH. So from there, cross multiply X times 32 equals 28 times 360. Divide by 32, divide by 32. And X ends up equaling 315 grams of CO. So we know that this is 315 grams. Well, now we got to change grams into moles. So on the cheat sheet, we're using molar mass. So we have 28 grams of CO is 1 mole of CO. And why is it 1? Because there's nothing out in front, so that's a 1. So we're going to make that equal to, well, I don't have 28 grams, I got 315 grams of CO over X moles of CO. Let's multiply that is 28 times X equals 1 times 315. Divide by 28, divide by 28. And X ends up equaling 11.3. That's, whoops, not grams. That's moles of CO. All right, or 11.25 if you went all out even further. All right, so that was number 1. Whew, man, all that for number 1. Goodness. All right, so now let's go to number 2. Which I hate to say it, we're using the same equation. So I'm going to keep all these molar masses, because do the molar masses change? Nope. Those don't change. They're going to be the same because we're still talking about the same substances. It's just going to be the blue part that's going to change because my question is going to change. So letter B says calculate the number of grams of each reaction. Oh, so we got to go X grams of this guy and X grams of this guy to produce 4 moles of the product. All right. Oh, so we got to get 2 more answers again. So we start with the one that's got a number. It's over here. It's a mole. So on my cheat sheet, I can go moles to moles. That'll get me from here over to here. So we can change this into moles. Then we can go moles to grams. So if I do moles to moles, I got to use my numbers from the balanced equation. So it's 1 mole of CH3OH to 2 moles of H2. So that's coming from here. We're not using molar mass this time. Now you gotta go, well, I don't have 1 mole, I got 4.00 moles of the CH3OH. I'm gonna find X moles of H2. So cross multiply X times 1 equals 2 times 4. So that is 8 moles of H2. So we know now this is 8 moles. All right, from there, now I got to get moles to grams. That means I got to use molar mass. So 4 grams of H2, that's from right here, is 2 moles of H2. I don't have 4 grams, I got 8 moles, or not 4 grams, but instead of 2 moles, I got 8 moles of H2, and I want to find X grams of that. So X times 2 equals 4 times 8. Divide by 2, divide by 2, and X ends up equaling 16 grams of H2 is my answer. Great, yep. Okay, so we know now that this right here is 16 grams. Hey, there's one of the answers. All right, so now we gotta do the second one. Remember I told you this stuff was hard and it was gonna take a bunch of work to do it, so you can see that we're getting to that point. All right, so now let's find this one. So we know moles over here. Let's get to moles over here. So we're gonna go X moles. Once I know moles, then I can change it into grams. So I gotta use that 1 mole of CO makes 1 mole of CH3OH. Well, on this side I wanna know X. I gotta know X moles of CO. If I have 4.00 moles of CH3OH. Cross multiply and solve. 1 times 4 equals 1 times X. So X equals 4. And that's moles of CO. So we know that this is 4 moles. Now we know that moles, now we can use my molar mass of 28 grams to 1 mole. So 28 grams of CO is 1 mole of CO. But I don't have 1 mole, I got 4 moles over there. So I got 4.0 moles of CO, I want to know X grams. So cross multiply, X times 1 equals 28 times 4. And X ends up equaling 112. grams of CO. So now we know that this is 112 grams. Whew. Finally got to the end of that answer. That was letter B. Wow, that's a lot of work up there. All right, so now let's do letter C. It's still the same equation, so I'm still going to keep my molar masses up there because those aren't going to change. I'm just going to erase the blue part up here because that's going to change because we have a new question. So the question is how many grams of hydrogen? So we need to know X grams of hydrogen to react with 2.85 moles of CO. Hey, there's only one answer this time. Whew, amen. All right, so they gave me moles. I want to get from here to there. So according to my cheat sheet, we're going to go moles to moles. So that means I need, according to the balanced reaction, 1 mole of CO will react with 2 moles of H2. Then we go, well, I don't have 1 mole of this. I got 2.85 moles of CO and X moles of H2. Let's multiply 1 times X equals 2 times 2.85. So X ends up equaling 5.70. And that's moles of H2. So we know that this is 5.70 moles. Now I can use my molar mass to change grams into moles. So I need that 4 grams of H2 is 2 moles of H2. So that came from here. 4 grams of H2 is 2 moles of H2. And then I don't have 2 moles, I have 5.70 moles of H2. And X grams of H2 is what we're trying to find out. Cross multiply, X times 2 equals 4 times 5.70. Alright, so divide by 2, and X equals, if I multiply that out, gets 11.4 grams of H2. And yep, that's what they were after, was grams of H2. So there's my answer. Wow, that was a lot of work for that question, wasn't it? Alright, well that finishes that one. We'll see you in the next one. Have a great night.